Hi everyone, my name is Chili or Chili Bean. Welcome back to the channel. And in this channel, I show you how to build iOS applications and I teach you how to build and master the art of making apps. It's been a while since I've made a video and I'm just coming back to YouTube, coming back to video making and trying to get back into the rhythm and the flow of creating videos. So this is one video um, after a very long break, right? So life and career changes, new jobs, settling down, moving around, and coming back to YouTube. So for all my subscribers, I want to say thank you very much for subscribing. Even though I haven't posted any new videos, it's been a very long time in making. Let's just wait for the plane to pass by. I'm also on Instagram. Feel free to find me on Instagram. And while I'm recording, I'm also doing a live stream on Instagram so my friends can see me doing this live. So I want to say thank you for watching my tutorials and my videos, the very old first ones. I still get comments and it's been very motivating, and that's in fact one thing that kept me with the idea of coming back and making YouTube, because I feel like I gave out a lot of value in those early videos. So I want to say thank you very much for watching those videos, and if you gained a lot from it, if you learned a lot from it, I want to say feel free to share that. There's going to be more coming. I'm going to do more things like that. In this case, I'm going to do more and create a complete course or a tutorial. Alright, so what have I been up to? I've been up to a lot. There's a lot of things going on. Let me put this on the side first and let us talk about and catch up about life. So what have I been up to? I've gotten like 2 jobs since my last video on YouTube. So I've worked in 2 different places. Started out, I was doing those videos while I was still in school, so while I was finishing up my bachelor's in software engineering, and I was using it as an avenue to learn and strengthen my iOS and Swift skills. So at that time, I only had an internship experience, but my final semester in college, I got a full-time job, and that's when everything started becoming busy. So I did that job for, it was like a short-term contract job, iOS full-time position, and that was the first experience, like full-fledged full-time working experience on the job. So many of you will notice that iOS skills is like very high in demand. It takes a while to get into that industry, but once you have the skills and everything you need, you sure definitely find something in the market. So I got my first job whilst in college and did that for 6 months, and then once I finished that, I got another offer immediately after that one, and I did that for a year and some months, a year and like 6 months, and after that I got a new job after that, and I did that for another year and 8 months, almost 2 years. So I've been working for the past 4 years professionally as an iOS developer, as a software engineer. So what are the takes? I have some neighbors like screaming right now, so I'm gonna edit this part. So the goal is to create the videos and the courses and have less input or create it in such a format that it's going to be easier for me to edit, and it's going to provide more value for you guys. Let's say this is not going to be like a tutorial course where I'm going to teach all the basics of iOS programming. This is not going to be a beginner course. This project I'm focusing on at the moment. So this one is going to be a little bit more advanced, and this one is going to be in this way. So I'm trying to advance my skills, right? I'm trying to go further in my iOS journey and my iOS programming. Because I started this like 6 years ago, doing this myself, and I've come to the point where I want to, go higher or go to the next level of building applications. So the next thing I feel I need to do is to practice and master my art, right? You have to be good at your craft if you want to go to that expert level. So this effort is going to be me practicing or sharpening my sword and showing you how I am doing that along the way, right? So I'm showing you how I am advancing my skills in my own profession. And if you're starting out in software engineering, in iOS programming, this can be very valuable, because I know in the industry, the senior folks or the expert iOS developers, they don't have time and they're usually not around. They're usually busy and occupied, right? So especially like when I was in my second job, I desired that training or that teaching or that mentoring. I wanted to be in that position where the senior developers or the senior engineers would train me and mentor me and pass down that skill, that iOS development skills. But what I found out was most senior developers do not have the time. If you find a senior developer or senior software engineer that dedicates their time in mentoring you and training you and getting you up to speed in what you need to learn in software engineering in general, you really have to appreciate what they're doing and their effort. But I found out that most engineers do not have the time to train and get junior and mid engineers up to skill. So like I did before starting the career, I did this myself. So I'm going to do this myself. I'm going to try and become an expert myself. And hence the reason for this new channel or this new project, which is the iOS journey, right? So this is me going on the journey, becoming an expert in my craft, in my trade, right? I want to look at all the skills that I need to master and document it as I learn it and become an expert in that. And while documenting it, I'm going to be showing how I am building those things. And if you find it valuable, I'm going to be putting this out there, and I'm going to be posting this on my YouTube channel. And I'm not going to post everything because I know there's so much value in it, right? So let's say I'm going to post like 50% of the course or whatever I'm trying to build the expert way, right? The senior engineer way. If you find that valuable and you want to support me, then you can complete it or purchase the rest of it, but it won't be too expensive. I'll just put it out there for a price. But the whole thing for me is exciting because I want to see myself grow, and I want to watch myself grow in this iOS space. So at the same time, I want to bring people along, especially minorities and junior developers, right? So that is what this next project is all about. That's what this next effort is. So I'm going to be doing two things. I'm going to be training and mastering my craft, becoming an expert, and showing you that while I'm doing it. And I'm also going to try and create something for the beginners, a course using Apple's anyone can code, right? So let's check out anyone can code. I think it's this one. This one is the K-12 one. So there are some books that Apple released. Swift app development. Okay. So I'm just seeing the K-12 books right here. But let me bring up my iBooks. I'll show you the books right here. So everyone can code. I think that's it. Not anyone can code. I think it's everyone. So everyone. Yeah, this one. Right? Okay. So if you go through this Apple's website, Apple released a curriculum for teaching iOS, and they made it in a book, and this is taught in colleges and high school by teachers. So you either have to be in college or high school to get the training or to be in that class, and there is no other resources teaching this. So what I want to do is to teach this. Everyone can code. Apple's curriculum, and I've started doing the preparations. I've started doing the structure of the lesson plan and how I'm going to conduct the training, right? Because I was previously a teacher. I am still a teacher, indirectly, right? Because YouTube tutorials is teaching. So this is going to be my second effort while I'm doing the first one, right? The first one is me advancing my skill in iOS programming. Thank you all for joining on Instagram. I'm just making a YouTube video. So the first trainings or the first videos are going to be me learning my skill and advancing what I know now in app development. So going to the expert level. And I mentioned it earlier that I wanted to learn this from the senior developers at work, my previous jobs, right? But they didn't have the time to mentor me and train me because of I want that career growth, right? Because with more career growth, you have opportunities to have many things, financial opportunities. You get given more tasks. You get to build bigger apps or bigger projects, right? So I wasn't getting this where I was working, and I realized that okay, I'm not going to wait until a senior developer teaches me everything, because I want to be a senior developer in like the next 6 months. So what do I need to do, and what are the steps that I need to take to get to my goal or my desired skills? And once I figure out the steps and all the things I need to do, then I have to sit down and devote the time and master that craft and master that skills. And while doing that, I want to document it and put it out there for other developers that are, let's say, coming up or in my same shoes, right? So they can see the way you can push yourself and gain more skill or become better in what you're doing. So that's the first effort of what I want to do for myself and for my audience, right? my subscribers. So it's not going to be a course like I mentioned earlier, because in the course I'm going to be like, I want to show you how to build this, I want to teach you how to build this, right? And that might take time to explain those advanced things, right? So instead of doing that, I'm going to record myself studying and practicing those skills, right? I'm going to say, okay, here's where I need to learn to build this feature. For instance, it's going to use MVVM architecture, right? What's MVVM? MVVM is model view model architecture, right? So what I would do is I would say this is the skill I need to learn and I need to study it this week. So I would, record the videos of me learning that skills, and this would be the content that I'm going to be uploading. My effort in learning, becoming that expert or becoming better in what I want to learn. And once I learn all the skills that I need, then the next thing would be to build an app using those skills that I've learned, right? So while building the app, it's not going to be like a beginner where I'll start explaining everything. Because I've shown you what I'm learning and I've tried to master it, the app is just going to be straightforward. I'm just going to go straight into it and just build the thing in front of you, right? And I think you can learn that way if you're watching me and you're seeing the process of what I've gone behind the scenes, or what I've learned, my homeworks that I did myself. So that is going to be the format of how I want to do the training or the course. So it is me learning it. So you can learn from me by watching me and following me in what I'm doing, as I am learning and teaching myself and becoming better, right? And I'm putting it out there for everyone to see. So I have not seen this kind of content on YouTube before. I haven't seen anyone mastering or getting better at their craft and putting it out there, right? It's usually teaching a tutorial or teaching something specific in iOS programming or something basic for the beginners. So that's the first part of what I want to do. Then the second part is teaching this Apple's app development with Swift. All right, so this one is the teacher's guide, and this one is the student's guide. So what I will do is I will start from the beginning and teach it the way I want to for everyone. So I need to have like a lesson plan, what we'll be doing, like assignment, homeworks, quizzes, those things. Those are usually prepared by the professors in the universities, right? But Apple just gives you the curriculum and the book and suggests some things to do, right? So it's left for the teacher and the school to come up with those lesson plan and assignment and how they're going to execute the teaching, right? So that's what I'm going to do, and that's what I've been doing, preparing this. So this one will be completely free, right? So this is going to be for the beginners, right? For anyone that wants to learn how to make apps. So I want to put this out there as part of the contribution of other tutorials and courses that are there. So hopefully no one steals my idea and copies me. that would be the painful part. All right, so those two things out of the way, right? What I've been doing and where I have been the past 3-4 years, right? I've been catching up with life. I hope you're doing well with the way the world is going right now, and I hope you're staying sane and safe, right? And I wish you well if you're watching my videos, especially if you're in the future, if you're trying to learn this skill to get a job. I wish you all the best. So for today, what I'm going to be discussing is the first part of my iOS journey, which is me learning the advanced stuff in iOS in app making. And to do that, what I decided to do is to think of a project that I would like to build and incorporate those skills that is needed, or those skills that expert iOS engineers should know. So while building this app, I'm going to be demonstrating those skills, and I'm going to be studying those skills and documenting and showing you those things along the way. So while I'm learning, you can also join with me. I've created a Discord chat group, and I'm going to put it in the description of this video. So if you would like to join, if you like to join me doing this at the same time, feel free to join the group. If you also like to discuss with other people, ask questions, feel free to join the group. Okay, so I saw this design. Let's start with the design. So this is a very beautiful sketch design, and I bought this design for like $30, right? And it's a news app like Twitter, and it's very, very modern, and it's very, very easy and user friendly. I just like the design, right? How it looks visually. So I'm going through it and I'm looking at it and I'm trying to analyze and come up with a design document or software, what we call software architectural document or software requirements document, right? So usually before this design comes out, right, let me give you guys some tips of what goes on in the software engineer world, right? So the business would think of what they want to build, and they would come together with the UX designer and some architectures, as well as other software engineers, and they will sit down and they will go through each scenarios of what they want to do, and the designer would flesh out the design, right? So at the end of the day, you have this mock-ups or this final UX design. So this is what I have right now. So from here, you can now start getting the requirements. For instance, this is going to be the onboarding, right? Onboarding the users. So this is telling the users about the features of the app, what the app is going to be doing, right? This is a news app, and you can get world-class journalism from titles you love and the sources and so on and so forth, right? And then you have the home screen. You can see the trending news. You can see the horizontal collection view like UI item, and you can see the table view like one right here. And you can see also a search bar, and there is like a segment, right? Lots of segments. And you can have trending, you can have the stories, video, recent, you can have football, whatever. And while you click that, it shows you those screens right there, right? Very nice, very beautiful, very simple UI design. I like it. And this is the home screen. You're in the home screen right now. So if you click the video, you can see video news, just like Twitter, right? And then you can go to the explore section. You can explore based on different type of news, right? Political, business, educational, whatever category, right? And it shows you here some accounts: BBC News, CNN, those popular news channels. So it's a news app that shows you news, and I think you can create a post and you can have friends, right? So let me just quickly go through the design. You have the profile screen, you have the follow. So when someone follows you, you can have someone follow you and you can follow another person, you can have followers, right? So in the follow screen, you can also follow some news channels. like CNN, BBC, Temple Run, CNN, all those news channels, right? You can find more. So that's that. That's that screen. Now we're going to come to the login screen, and in this login screen, it's a sliding navigational screen, right? So it's a hamburger menu-like screen, the one that is on the side, and once you click the hamburger button, it slides the menu uh, vertically, right, or horizontally. It slides it this way, and it occupies half of the screen. And you can sign in with your Google account, Facebook, or Apple. So this is going to, we can use a third-party API. We can use Firebase to do this authentication, or we can use, there's a new platform that I'm intending to use for this app because it's pretty much brand new and I haven't seen any or much developers on that platform. So I'm trying to explore it too and learn about that platform. So that's AWS Amplify. So I've used Firebase. Firebase is very nice, easy to use, very simple for developers. Authentication, data store, database, push notifications, remote config, what else? Analytics, and so on and so forth. So Firebase is easy to use. Firebase is no SQL, so you don't have like SQL. So it's no SQL database, and things are stored in objects. So like documents. So they're stored in documents, and they're stored in like directories. But I want to use AWS Amplify for this, to learn AWS and have that as an additional new skill in my repertoire, right? Okay, so in this menu, we can see the history, likes, save, notifications, settings, help center, all that things, right? The profile looks like an Instagram profile. You can edit your profile, you can see your posts, you can see your notifications, you can see your followers, number of posts, number of following, all that stuff, right? Very, very similar to Instagram. It's like an Instagram and news app at the same time. Okay. And this is where you're going to be doing the posting. So you can select an image to post something or video, right? So I haven't worked with video before, and this is going to be new. I know video is, I've used video library like AV Player, right? But I haven't like used it in a project. So this would be one additional new skill I have to learn. Okay, so this is the post screen, and this is the share post. Now this is also one thing I discovered. If you're sharing a post, so if you share a link like from this app and you want to share it, and it shows you like you want to share it in your WhatsApp or to Facebook, or you want to copy the link and text it to someone. So if you send the link to someone and they click the link, it would take them directly to that specific post, right? So that is deep linking. That's called deep linking. So I have to learn deep linking and implement deep linking for this app. So if you have the app installed, it's going to take you directly to that post that you were shared. But if you don't have the app installed, then it will take you to the App Store and you have to download the app. That's how deep linking works. It's a kind of routing mechanism in applications. All right. So we also have the detailed post, right, and the history. And you can see the comments as well, right? Very nice design. Okay, and then this last part of the design. Okay, in the settings, you can block some users, you can change the text size. So this text size is one new skill too that I have to learn. I haven't done this in any apps. So if you know, like in accessibility, like Apple is trying to make sure that their apps meet all different type of users or all different users with any accessibility issues. So one thing they do in the text is to make the text dynamic. So all the words in the app should be dynamic if you're building an app. Meaning that if someone cannot see very tiny text and they want to increase the size of the text in your app, you should allow them to adjust the size of the text so that they can read the app and essentially use it. Because if they can't see the text, they can't use your app. Right? So this app is a news Instagram kind of app, and from this design it shows that it should support dynamic type. So this is called dynamic type. So I have to implement dynamic type in the entire project, right? So that I can increase everything, and I also have to make all the text adjust. So when it becomes bigger, like how the screens adjust itself to cater for that dynamic type, right? So I have to implement this. So this is a very new feature that I'm excited to learn. I haven't done this before. Okay. And so this is the settings, privacy version, and that's it. So the app looks simple. I mean, for a senior developer, this will look like a simple project. But once we start analyzing and going deeper into all things that I'm going to need to explore and learn to successfully implement this app, then it becomes more tricky, right? So that's what I'm going to be showing you. This is the course. This is my own format, right? This is my own YouTube style that I want to be creating. I'm going to be showing you how to make advanced app, and I'm going to be learning the things I need to learn to build that app on the way and show you how I'm learning those things. All right. So that way is both ways, right? We are creating values in two ways. I'm showing you how to build the advanced stuff, and I'm learning how to build the advanced stuff, right? So once I master it, you can also master it, right? That's why I wanted to do it this way. That's the other reason why I wanted to do it this way, because I found out that if I'm teaching beginners beginner tutorials is not hard to teach. It's easy to teach, right? But sometimes if you're like a mid-level developer or a senior developer, time becomes very, very valuable, right? You don't want to spend time, it looks somehow like you already know it, right? Except you have the passion and time, right? There's always a place for it, and it's always good to teach a beginner. But after a while, it becomes very, let's say, not too exciting to teach the beginner things. And that's why you won't see senior developers creating beginner courses. They don't even have time. So what I want to do is I want to learn the advanced stuff and teach the advanced stuff and show it. So that way I'm excited to learn things I need to learn to build it, and I'm also adding that to my skills. So once I know it, I already know this thing. This is senior level stuff. This is senior material, and I won't feel like I spent all the whole months trying to teach a beginner course and nobody even looked at it, right? Nobody even watched it. And it's something I already know, and I just spent the whole time trying to create that, right? But if I'm learning something more advanced and I spend the whole time trying to learn it and I master it, right? This becomes my acquired skill, and this is valuable skill for any any company that I'm going to work at, any new job I get, this is what I'm going to bring to their table, right? So it's very valuable. It's going to be very valuable for me. And at the same time, if you're watching this, if you learn it too, then you can guarantee you've learned a new advanced skill. That's going to be very good. So that's the breakdown of the course I'm going to learn. Okay, so what I did is to list the skills that is needed for this app. So I went through the app and I tried to look at the features and abstract the skills that is needed. And I'm going to do like an analysis or come up with a design document for everything I'm going to execute or implement in this app. So on the architectural side or the design pattern for this app, I'm going to be using MVVM. So MVVM is model view model design pattern or architectural pattern. And lots of beginner app would use MVC architecture, so model view controller, but I want to use MVVM in this project. And I want to study and learn MVVM and become very good at MVVM for this project, right? So this is the breakdown of the things that I would need to implement this app. And I just listed it down here, all the notable key features and key things that I need to implement. Some of these things I have an idea, I've done it before. Most of them, for instance, push notification, I've done that. Hitting an API and getting back a JSON data response, I've done that. Table view orders are beginner, I won't list that, right? But I'm listing only the skills that I think that this thing needs, and I need to learn it. So, for instance, I'm going to use Amazon Web Service platform instead of Firebase for the backend, right? And I'm going to try and make the components, the UI components, reusable, right? So I can use it again. So that's using a reusable kit framework. I talked about the dynamic type, so making the text bigger and smaller based on accessibility, right? So I need to implement that for this app. I also talk about the onboarding. Okay, let me go through it one by one, right? Let me not go through it haphazardly. So the first one, MVVM, then onboarding. So this onboarding would be a module, or to be a separate, to be like, I want to group the onboarding side of the app so that it doesn't interfere with the entire app process, right? So whenever there's any new feature, the onboarding can pull that information from, let's say, a backend and show that new features that's going to be in that app. Especially when the app has been shipped and users are already using the app, you don't want to, like, how are you going to get the app back from the users when you've already shipped the app, right? So you might want maybe ship a new version and add that to the onboarding. But I'm thinking about making the onboarding a separate module in the app so that whenever there's a new update, it's going to pull that new features. Lots of background noise. I want to make this video in a way that I won't edit it too much, so just bear with me for the sound. I hope it comes out well. So I was saying for the onboarding module, I want to make it modular so that once the users have started using the app, think about it. I want to make it in a way that once they've started using the app, whenever there's a new feature or there's a new push, it can pull it from a backend and show those new things. So that's what the onboarding module is. And then we have the authentication and the database storage. So I'll use AWS for that. And then make the UI kit reusable. So in this design, it has I like what the designer did here. Okay, that's me. That's me trying to find the design. So in this part, you can see all the components in the app has been fleshed out. So the buttons, the icons, let's say the cards, which would be like the table view cell or the collection view cells, the images, those things have been fleshed out as components. All the buttons. And we're going to have this all over the app, right? Everywhere in the app. So in order not to be repetitive, right, we need to have all our code in one place. So the key in software engineering or writing code is write once and ship everything. So your code has to be dry, right? Your code has to be DRY. DRY means don't repeat yourself, right? That's the classical software engineering rule or paradigm, we would say. So to make these components, the buttons, text, and everything reusable, I can put it in a kit, a framework kit, and then use those buttons and everything to build the app. So that's what this reusable kit framework is. And then I talked about dynamic text, and then also localization. So I haven't done localization before. Localization is when you have your app written in such a way that it can be used by other people in different languages and country, different locale, right? So locale like this, locally. That's the French word, right? So you're writing your app so that someone reading Mandarin can use your app, or someone using Arabic can read your app, or someone using English, French, or any other language. So all your text, you're not going to type the text inside the app. You're going to have a way to have the text written somewhere, and then those screens would reference that text where you kept it. So if you kept it somewhere and it's English, you can have the Chinese, Arabic, French, Spanish version of that text, and all the other side in the apps, the other screens will reference that specific text. So I've seen this in projects that I've worked on companies, but I haven't built this. I know how to do it, that's what I'm saying, but I haven't built it in my app. So I need to do localization for this app. And then the third-party API, right? So the data that comes for the news. So you have two data that's going to be produced by the app. The one the user is going to produce, the person that is using the app, as well as the data that's going to be served to the app. Alright, so I need to use either a news API, or I can use a Twitter API. So either this or news API. So this one is local. Okay, so the news API should be like, let's say it won't be expensive, it will be free. Okay, so you can use a news API to I can use it news API to serve this data, this news data here, this trending news, stories. I can also use Instagram API and try and get, but I don't know how it is. I have to figure out if this API, this third-party API will serve this data. right? But basically, I just need something that will give me articles and news. That's it. Okay, then I also have to do push notifications because it has the push notifications feature here. So maybe when someone sends you a post, or maybe when someone follows you or likes your post, you have that red bubble or red um, dot in your app that shows you there's a new thing going on. So I have to implement push notifications. Okay. And then the images, I have to cache the image somehow. And also the UI side could be, I want to use storyboard and code, right? There's a lot of fight and argument on doing things storyboard way or pure code, right? Think about it though. There's always a purpose for something. There's always a time and place to use a tool, right? So think about Xcode as a tool to build applications. So you're using it to do something, to create something. You can use a knife and be an expert just using a knife, right? You can maybe use a knife to uh, only knife to cook, right? And also you can use only spoon to cook, right? You can achieve everything, but if you have all the tools, you would know when to use a knife, when to use a fork, when to use a spoon, right? When you're cooking, it makes the cooking easier, right? So you can be one army, or you can know everything. So this is what I want to know. This is what I want to be good at, to become an expert in making apps. I want to know all the ways to do it. I want to be expert, and this also includes Swift UI, right? But because of the scope of this project, I'm trying to keep it down to 2 months, maximum 2 months. It shouldn't be more than 2 months. If it's going more than 2 months, then I have to be uh, dedicate time and finish it, because I want to finish this project and show you guys that you can essentially teach yourself anything and become good at it. I'm showing you guys that I want to master a skill, and I have to finish it and hold myself accountable. So I'm not going to do Swift UI for this. Swift UI is very new, but I'm only going to do storyboards and programmatic code. Alright, so the next thing is the navigation menu that I showed you earlier. So this one, I have to learn how to build this and make it perfect. And then dark mode and light mode. This one is very new. So the dark mode and light mode feature is a very new feature in apps that makes it very nice. I have seen how to do this. I wanted to do this in my last app, but I didn't do this in my last app. So I want to implement it in this project. This app was designed for light mode, so that means I have to try and infer or have the dark mode version. I mean, it's just going to be switching the colors. So that's what I want to do for this project. So I'm going to do dark mode, and then the shareable links and deep linking. This one. Okay. So there are about 15 key features of this app that I want to build, and these features are very heavy. It involves a lot of research, and it is not simple, because this is advanced stuff, right? So what I want to do is I want to study these 15 features, right? I want to study this 15 features and document them, right? So I want to take MVVM, the onboarding, and then AWS, and maybe do this 1 week, and then do this another week, document this another week, and then document this another week, like this, right? So once I master, especially the one that's going to be hard to master will be the MVVM, because I have to know how to do that by heart, right? So once I can figure out the MVVM, then the next heavy one, maybe push notification, deep linking, just like that. Then take those ones, then maybe the API, and then maybe localization, and then come up with a design document for each key features and how I'm going to execute it, right? And then once I start creating the project, then I can start showing you guys how I am implementing these key features inside this application, right? Okay. All right, so this is going to be the tutorial or the course that I'm making. So for this MVVM key feature, for instance, what I'm doing right now is I have started doing some reading and trying to come up and master what is out there, right? So I have this, let me take this to the side. Okay, so I have this this article by Benoit Pascal. Hope I'm pronouncing it the right way. So this is on how to implement MVVM pattern, and he shows how to implement this and also to test it in a simple project that calls an API for currencies and returns back with some data, but using pure MVVM with. And the binding pattern that he's using is because you have to use a kind of binding mechanism. So he's using this dynamic type, this custom dynamic type. I don't know if he's a he or a she. I hope I'm getting the pronoun, but I'm going to say he for right now. I don't know if he's a he or a she. Well, maybe I should say they to be politically correct, right? So what they're using here is dynamic type, right? So they're using dynamic type and doing notification and adding observers. So what I wanted to do is to look at this project that this person has put out and master and study how they did the MVVM pattern. And once I can, because I want to master it, I don't want to just look at it and implement it, right? Looking at it and implementing it would be easy, right? I can have it by the side of my screen and just type and copy it, right? But I want to be able to close my eyes and write the whole thing down. That's mastering the skill. So that's what I want to do. So I have the project here pulled up. Let me change the size of the presentation. Okay. So I have the project pulled up here, and this is the sample code. This is the project from the code I was showing you earlier, the MVVM, and it's very simple. It's not too complicated. You have the model, you have the resources, you have the services, the view model, and the view. So the question is this: given an API and using reachability, I don't know if this thing is too large. Let me reduce the size. This presentation large, okay. I think this will be better. All right. So given an API and a reachability code, create a project that does MVVM from scratch. No looking, no copying anywhere. Okay. So this is what I want to learn or master. So you have the model side, the service side and the view model and the view, right? The view is the view controller side, right? So the view controller is not doing too much stuff. You can see here what they have. You just have the data source and the view model, and the view model uses the data source, and the view is a view controller that has a table view, and once the view loads, the data source is being set to the table view's data source, and then the data source is being binded, right, to this view controller, right, and then the table view is being reloaded whenever there's any notifications or any changes to that data source. And then the other things that's going on, right, it's like you don't even have to do the table view delegate and the data source implementation inside the view controller. Although I have to figure out what happens for the delegate when you press the buttons and all those things. But this is a starting template to learn and understand MVVM in implementation and master how it is being done. So the next thing for me now is to use this template and understand how MVVM is being implemented and try to recreate it as much as possible without looking. Right, so that's what I want to learn. I want to master the skill. And once I finish that, I can create a document, and that would be the basis for the next videos. Okay, so that would be the basis for the next videos. All right, so I've reached the hour mark at this point, and I'm gonna come to a conclusion. So I want to say thank you for watching this video. If you find this useful, go ahead and give this a like. Feel free to join the Discord that I'll be posting in the link. And if you find this valuable, just let me know in the comments what you like about it. If you have any suggestions of what I should do, feel free to put that in the comment. This has been a fantastic comeback. Also, thank you for watching my previous videos. Really appreciate that, the likes and the comments. And feel free to continue or leave a comment on anything you want to know. My name is Chili Bean, and in this channel, I'm documenting my journey to become an expert in iOS development. And the saying goes that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. All right.